Hello, everybody, and welcome to Scare Your Friends, the only podcast on the internet that tells you to not go caving. Because fuck caving, right, guys?
Fuck caving!
Yeah!
Fuck caving.
Fight the caves.
Why are we fucking caves, John?
Because of Ted.
Who's Ted?
I don't know, some asshole that should have killed himself in a cave. I'm joined by my friends, William.
Well, we don't know if he did. We didn't finish the story.
That's
and
true.
no one knows what we're talking about. It's lost forever.
Yeah,
so that's
it's
the
a
end of
lost
that.
episode, guys. That's why an episode hasn't been out for 3 weeks, or
Oh,
2
whatever.
weeks, or whenever the fuck this one comes out.
We got an update video. It was fine. You appeased the fans. It's alright.
Yeah, I appeased them. I'm joined by my friends William, Dan, and Dylan. I'm going to play reversal and start with Dylan. How are you doing?
Hi. Dylan is beside himself.
Dan, how are you, dude?
I'm good. I'm good, John. Just got back from British Columbia. It was a wonderful time.
How
with
was
the-
your trip, Dan?
It was beautiful. It was in a place called Predator Ridge, and I kept thinking that like all the resort people were going to pull out guns and hunt humans like the most dangerous game.
It's Canada. They're nice people.
That's true.
Well, let's not stereotype Dylan.
Right.
Very racist.
But yeah, it was great. I went to
They're
a...
just northern Mexicans.
Oh my god. I
All
went
right.
to a spa. Moving on. I went to a spa. I'm all relaxed, but now I'm not because I'm here with you dipshits and fucking...
You went to Canada. You're supposed to be nicer.
No, that's not how that works, Dylan. What are you talking about? You've been saying that to me all week.
Hearing Dylan riff on Canada is nails on a chalkboard. That's all I have to say. Oh boy.
How are you, William?
I'm fine. Or I was, until we got Dylan's thoughts on Canada and how their people are. Which was very upsetting to someone, even as a non-Canadian.
To be fair,
I have
everybody...
cousins in Canada.
To be fair...
And I have a black friend. We're both still terrible people now. You can't do that. It doesn't work. That's not an excuse. You're a monster.
To be fair, my experience with Canada, everyone was super nice, so maybe there's some truth.
Dan, can we not plan to stereotype?
Also,
Fair
Dylan,
enough.
I wasn't going to mention this, but the artist for Scary Friends is also from Canada,
You
so...
piece of shit.
When the fuck were you gonna mention that?
Wait!
You tell me every time
After you make
after I make the fucking comment.
I like
What are you
making
talking
asses
about? You've
yourself.
always known!
No, it's not just this time, but every fucking
How
time you
so?
tell
About
me.
what?
How so?
Someone will tell me something. They'll say, "Oh, there's this person," and they'll say after I make a stupid comment making fun of someone, they say, "Oh, but by the way, they're from here." And I'm like,
But
"Are
you've
you
known
fucking
this!
kidding me?"
Yes, you've known this!
All right, hold on.
But Dylan, that's
Did you
your...
forget?
But that's
I
your
thought
entire life, Till.
Hang on,
That's
wait a minute. Dylan, calm down. Dylan, you should need to be delivered a briefing on a person's background to know what horrible things not to say around them. Instead, I suggest you try not saying horrible things. How about that, Dylan? Maybe give that a try.
Like, I didn't introduce you
Wait,
to Sam and go, by
wait.
the way, he's a Jew, so don't make Jew jokes.
Yeah, really, that shouldn't be necessary.
It's not.
Yeah, but it's so
No.
hard.
Whoa.
There's no get but, alright?
It's
No.
John, what story are we reading today?
Also, the funny thing was, I think Dylan's comment was about how nice Canadian people are, about how much nicer
We're
Canada
making
is.
a big deal about
We're
it.
making
It's
a big
horrible
deal
thing.
about. It's like saying, "Oh, Chinese people are good at math." It's like, "You racist!"
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, we're reading
Why
something.
the fuck was I getting mad then?
I don't know.
Fucking well.
I don't know. What are we
Can you
reading
stop
today,
like
John?
destroying my pillow, please?
For
It's a
God's
Yankee pill.
sake.
I will do anything I want to it.
Oh dear. Well, not on the podcast, I hope.
No, because no one wants to hear that.
Says the guy who's dry humped things while we're trying to read.
Yeah, but like in a tasteful way.
In a tasteful way.
Yeah.
Explain.
No, I won't.
Okay then. Then shut up.
We're reading a few suggestions.
But John,
What?
why does the title of this creepypasta sound so familiar?
Oh, what a... That's a
Is it
segue.
because it is the prequel to Abandoned by Disney, which you have mentioned on the previous podcast?
Whoa,
Is that why?
I didn't put
I
that
don't know.
together, Dan.
It even says the first thing annotated on the story. This is a prequel to Abandoned by Disney.
Okay. Yes.
Very astute.
Yes, very astute of you, Dan. This is indeed the prequel to Abandoned by Disney. I was gonna space these out a little bit, but because Ted the Caver is a fucker, and he ruins my podcast and ruins everything, I had to get a
making
quick
holes.
episode out for you guys.
Holy shit.
Have we
Um,
explicitly said we lost the audio on that
I'm
yet?
saying it now. We
Yeah.
lost the audio. It was. I edited the entire thing, and William did a phenomenal job with this one
Yeah.
section. We may come back to it, which is why I'm not gonna get into it. I don't want to get. I
It's
don't want to get our
The
thoughts.
story, what we've
What?
read, the story was terrible, but William really sold it with the one
I
piece that
said
he did read.
okay. I said it was a good story, but they had one very miserable part. But I'm not getting into this. We might revisit it at some
Fair enough.
point.
Okay.
Yeah.
Preferably when Nate comes back, who's also not here because
He's working.
Because he's memeing at home.
Yeah.
Anyway.
He's sending pictures of me to everyone in the group chat
From
for
the
some
spa.
reason. Yeah, exactly.
One thing I've learned about the author Slime Beast is that he can be a bit of an internet troll.
Okay.
So, I may have mentioned this way back in the day with Funny Mouth, but he did write a sequel to Funny Mouth called Funny Mouths.
Yes, you
Because
did.
it's
I
one of
was
those
actually on
things
the
that,
podcast.
you know, when you have a popular story and you have a lot of followers and readers, sometimes those readers may ask you for things.
Fair enough.
And he's not above trolling his own readers. So,
And I
Funny
like-
Mouths is a story. It's essentially a story where it starts off with this dude named Army Dude who asks, hey, is Funny Mouth real? And it just divulges into this, like, chat room of people just calling him an idiot. And at one point, there's literally a guy that says, you know, Slime Beast just copyright stories that aren't even his, right? And it's just this all this self-aware stuff.
But I think as an author, I think it's good to leverage yourself. I think having a sense of humor in anything that you do,
Right.
as a job, is
They may be wondering why I bring this up because with this story, I have no idea what he was thinking, and I'm not even saying it's bad. No.
Okay.
I'm not even saying that this is a bad story. I actually think this might be the most. This isn't the best story of the Abandoned by Disney. I still think that's Abandoned by Disney, which is a phenomenal story.
Yeah.
But I think this might be the most clever of the stories,
Okay.
based on what he was able to do with it. Because I don't know what he was thinking with this one. I do know that after Abandoned by Disney and Room Zero, he probably did have lots of people who were saying, hey, make
They
the
wanted
trilogy,
more,
make the
yeah,
trilogy, make
yeah.
the sequel to Room Zero.
Yeah.
He did eventually do that, but first, he made this thing. I'm not going to say anything about it. I'm just going to start reading it. Now, the way we're going to read this, I'm going to read a paragraph, and then William's going to read a paragraph, and then Dan's going to read a paragraph, and then Dylan's going to read a paragraph.
So we're each going to do one suggestion.
Yeah, we're just gonna hot potato
Okay.
this.
Well, yeah. So this is a few suggestions. Suggestion: we could use another person in the check-in during peak hours.
Suggestion: please move the hot dog cart away from the main water slide. Also, please have water slide staff keep an eye out for children who just ate. When anyone gets sick in there, 3 or 4 people have to go through it before we know about
Oh
it.
no.
That's and that's also a reference to the original. Well, that is a reference to
Yeah.
Room Zero with the water slides.
Right. Suggestion: it would be nice if we had a way to give more detailed information anonymously, maybe private meeting time with management.
Suggestion: need more security at Southgate.
Suggestion: music in the reptile house keeps slowing down and reversing. It's very annoying.
Suggestion: please tell the mascots not to try eating in their costumes. We keep getting one in with food all over its face, and we think someone's trying to be funny. The mouth opening is mesh, so eating isn't even possible.
Suggestion: please fix the music in the reptile house. It's still driving me up the wall.
Suggestion: guests are complaining about the amount of towels in their rooms.
Suggestion: need a better or newer coffee machine in the break room.
Suggestion: I wasn't going to say anything because I'm pretty tolerant, but please stop admitting children without faces. They won't stay in the guest areas.
Suggestion: the common area could use a bigger selection of DVDs and games. The collection is already getting stale.
Suggestion: still need security at Southgate. What's cheaper, having a staffer pass by once in a while, or painting all over all the vandalism?
Suggestion: Southgate needs more security.
Suggestion: what are we doing about the profanities at the employee exit? Send security 3 more times of the day or whatever.
Suggestion: don't feel safe leaving Southgate at the end of shift.
Suggestion: Frank is cheating at solitaire when he thinks I'm not watching. Please do something about this immediately.
Suggestion: tell the mascots to stay out where they don't belong. One of them keeps turning off the music in the reptile house. Can't tell who because of the suit. Have a meeting or something.
Suggestion: please give the mascots more break time or allow them to take short breathers during work hours. Sweat and body odor are one thing, but now we keep getting the same suit full of vomit.
Suggestion: stop Frank, he's a menace. It has now spread to Sudoku. I am not making this up.
Suggestion: sorry to write on a napkin, but we need more suggestion cards, or else somebody is stealing them all.
Suggestion: stop the fucking music.
Suggestion: I swear all these blank kids are getting into everything. Every time I kill one of them, the others just misbehave more. I keep finding them in piles at the bottom of stairways and they think it's funny. It's not funny. I can't get through.
I read all these black kids are getting their.
Oh, God.
Sorry. Suggestion: we need more suggestion cards.
Suggestion: we received a mascot suit with paint on its gloves. Someone took it to the South Gate, and the color matches what the vandal is using. Might be worth looking into. Also, where are the cards?
Suggestion: costume sticking on the source.
Suggestion: it's too hard to write with this gloves on.
Suggestion: thank you for the suggestion cards. Finally, what are we doing about staffing check-in at peak hours?
Suggestion: once more, sorry for the napkin. We're out of cards again.
Suggestion. One of the mascots cornered me in the supply closet and grabbed my breast. I told Michael Sheenhan about it, but I don't think he's going to do anything because I don't know who was in the outfit. I'm going to file a lawsuit if management continues avoiding my calls. This is a final notice. Additionally, please restock the cards. I suspect they were removed so you can discourage my reports.
Suggestion. Haha, I'm a mouse.
Suggestion. Fuck you.
Suggestion. Someone's taking out light bulbs. I mean, just everywhere. The guests are getting increasingly angry about flipping switches only to have nothing happen.
Suggestion. When are we getting some new DVDs in the common room? I'm not complaining because they're old movies. Just that plenty are scratched and don't play all the way through.
Suggestion. What's the ETA on that coffee maker?
Suggestion. The vending machines on the third floor in the guest area are constantly unplugged and the money slots are often jammed with suggestion cards. I don't even know what these cards are talking about.
Suggestion. We need more cards again.
Suggestion. Try to find Frank.
Suggestion. I'll give you clues about Frank, okay?
Suggestion. Clue number 1. It's cold.
Suggestion. Clue number 2. It's wet.
Suggestion. We need another coat of paint on the south gate. Are you doing anything about this clown?
Suggestion. Clue number 3. Flush.
Suggestion. The hot dog cart is still next to the water slide, and there have been 2 more incidents involving children getting sick halfway through the pipe. This is really reflecting poorly on the resort.
Suggestion. I don't think you're looking for Frank.
Suggestion. Hey, I don't want to be a dick, but seriously, where are the cards? This box is pointless.
Suggestion. I keep sinking into the floor.
Or maybe it's just that I feel like it.
Suggestion. I can't get any rest because there's too much to do. Every time I lie down, guests keep asking me if I'm okay.
Suggestion. I can't get my head off. 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 I can't get my head off.
Suggestion. Ignore last card. It was my real head. I forgot.
Suggestion. The costume is sticking to my sores, and there are more sores.
Suggestion. All I am is sores.
Suggestion. The costume is breathing, and if I don't match its movements, I can't get any air.
Suggestion. F.
Suggestion. Uck.
Suggestion. I keep locking the gates, but someone keeps opening them again. Please tell them to stop doing that because it lets everyone out again, and I feel that it's counterproductive.
Suggestion. They found Frank, and they're gonna blame me. Please advise.
Suggestion. Ha ha ha, Frank's face was like a bad-looking plate of mashed potatoes when they pulled him out, but when I laughed at it, everyone looked at me, even the people with faces, which is odd.
Suggestion. I have to think of what to do.
Suggestion. Oh.
Suggestion. I know. Hang on.
Suggestion. I'm not sure if the suggestion box is the right place for this, but security isn't doing much about my complaint. Over the last couple of days, I've been circling the resort and counting the number of staffers. As far as I can tell, there are more mascots on the grounds than we have on payroll. Security says it doesn't make sense, but I think we have one extra.
Suggestion. Please help. Costumes are heavy with people inside, and there's no hook left for me.
And that was a few suggestions.
Wow.
So the running theory is that there used to be an image that came on the wiki with this story, and it's basically, let's look it up real quick. So one of the images that commonly comes up with this story is this suggestion
It was
box.
in the...
Right.
Yep.
Yeah, it was in
Right.
We had it in our wiki.
Okay, I didn't have it on mine for some reason. But essentially, the idea that many people are speculating is that this is a suggestion box at Mowgli's Palace while the thing is still open.
Is this the first comedy pasta we've read?
Yeah, basically.
I mean, yeah, I think it is a little bit self-aware.
Okay, besides Jeff the Killer.
I think it is a little self-aware, and I think it also still works
A
as
little.
a...
It does. It does. It
I think it
absolutely
still
does.
works. I think there's still some creepy elements to it. This is really the only story where we get like a live look in as to what's actually happening. Because if
Or-
Abandoned by Disney is kind of like Bioshock, where it's like Rapture, and like you
Yeah.
get there after it's happened, this is the only one where it's kind of a little
Well,
bit like...
I like how we're 3 stories in. One of them is like dumb and off the cuff or whatever, and we still don't know exactly what's happening. You know what I'm saying?
So here's the thing. With Funny Mouths, it was very obvious, like,
Right.
that it was a joke.
Right.
Like, there was a link where, like, the guy, like... Where there, like, at one point, I'll show this to you after this recording's over, but there's literally a part where the guy, like, links to the website, and it just goes to the Urban Dictionary definition of swine flu. Just... no reason, and then like it's just a lot of in jokes. But this is not as it's not as
No,
obvious.
it's not. Yeah, there's more subtlety to it, and there is, like you said, there is creepy elements to it where you could take it seriously, but there is a lot of silly shit as well.
Because it is referring. There's a lot. It is referring to a lot in the previous 2 stories with the water slide. It's referring to this because in the first story we were talking about this. The story, the antagonist is this mouse figure that rips its own head off. And we don't know if it's like a ghost in a costume or if it's a person, or maybe at this point it's just a dude in a costume who's just being a pervert.
It's like, oh, it's my real head.
I just need a little refresher. Was there any part in both stories that we read where there were people kids with blank faces? Because when I was hearing
That
that,
was,
like at first it
Room
was
Zero.
funny. That was
Yeah, like the gas sock thing.
Room
yeah,
Zero.
yeah. Cause I'm like,
kind of.
because at first you know you seen that and it was like kind of like funny the way it was worded, but then you realize this guy's murdering kids with blank faces.
But it was
So-
Again, but like the idea is there's no context to the
Yeah.
story. For all we know, this
Yeah.
could just be a box filled with suggestions that no one's ever seen.
Yeah.
I mean,
And they just exist.
I hear what you guys are saying, where you're like, oh, you know, this ties in really well. There's depth to it. It fits the narrative of the story and all that. And like, you're right. But this story is no. I don't hate it, not at all. No, this story is written in an entirely comedic tone throughout. Like Dylan was saying, he's killing kids. He's flushing a man who cheats at solitaire down a toilet.
Right.
You know, it's just it's the whole thing is just comedy.
Yeah, like
the
there's,
entire
no,
time.
like
This
there's no
is-
hook for me inside the mascots.
This is something that I'm assuming Slime Beast just had like suggestion boxes. Wouldn't it be goofy if people just wrote crazy shit? And he just went off for a couple hours and wrote bananas nonsense about a crazy haunted Disney
Right.
with insane employees writing in the suggestion box.
And the other thing,
And it's funny.
is I don't know this firsthand, of course, but one thing that these two stories have attracted with Abandoned by Disney and Room Zero are Disney fans, and there are some really big Disney super fans out there that are really all about anything Disney. And you know, some of them probably were really clamoring for the trilogy. They really wanted it to
Didn't
end.
they end up getting a trilogy though?
Yes, eventually. But at the time, like, this kind of... I almost think, like, Slime Beast was kind of taking the piss out of him a little bit.
Yeah.
But it's not, like, totally a parody. It still kind of works. It still kind of ties into what's going
This
on.
plays as an in-universe comic interlude.
Yeah,
If
right,
we insist
right.
on like thinking of it as an
Right.
overarching narrative.
And that's why I kind of think it's clever, because it kind of does a lot of things at once.
Right. And even a few suggestions, like the title, kind of like, it's almost like a throwaway, like a gag. Like if you were watching like these as movies, like a few suggestion would be like the bonus, like on the DVD as like a goof, like bloopers or whatever. Yeah.
Like where the other two were stories, this is a bit.
Right.
We're not reading a story.
right,
We're
it's a
reading
bit,
like almost
right.
like a comic
In the same
comedy
universe.
sketch.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And yeah, in a world where creepypasta, where a lot of them are garbage, and a lot of the ones that are really garbage really take themselves really seriously, it's nice
Yeah,
to
we've
know
read
that,
some of them.
like, Strangled Red and
Oh, that came to my mind. Yep.
Yeah,
I
take them.
always go back to the house the death forgot. My
No, like-
fucking my worst.
But yeah, I think when it comes to writing, I think if you can entertain the reader, I think you've done your job.
Yeah, exactly.
Regardless of, this isn't scary at all, but it
No.
is creepy. It's creepy enough where it's intriguing, and it does work with Abandoned by Disney.
I mean, this reminds me a lot of I had to take an experimental writing class.
Yeah, I
in
did that
college,
in my fucking senior
which
seminar.
is just basically just write the most baffling nonsense you can
House of Leaves,
in
yeah.
the strangest structure you can
Yep.
find. And this feels like an A+ paper turned
Right.
in, not to like
Right.
belittle it, but like that's kind of the style of writing where it's very.
I hate that.
It was
I
a
hate-
horrible class.
I
I
hate-
wanted to die.
Not that I hate the story because I think it's
No.
really good, but I hate that idea of writing crazy off the wall bullshit for the sake
for
of
the
doing
sake
it.
of itself.
I fucking
it's,
hate that.
It seems
Well,
to have been
I
up.
hate
Well,
that.
the thing
up
is
its
though,
own
like
ass.
this, if
Mhm.
you can write it in a way where it makes sense, it works fine. But where you write nonsense to write nonsense,
Right, that's
it's
what we're
it's
talking
just
about.
like you said,
Yeah.
it's bullshit.
This is entertaining.
House of
It's-
Leaves.
This
This is a fucking
this is
perfect
like
example
a
of
different
that.
way of this is different writing. It's good. Like it's a different way, a different perspective.
What, you've dropped your phone like 5 times.
Because I keep like trying to juggle it. Yeah.
Why?
And
I don't know.
And one of the other interesting things is that all three of the stories we've read in the Abandoned by Disney saga are written completely differently. There's one where
Yeah.
he's one where he's kind of one where he's kind of like one where it's in the present where like
Right.
he's actually there at Mowgli's palace. One where he's telling accounts of other people in Room Zero, and then a few suggestions, which is just there's no
just
character.
insane.
It's
Right.
just for all we know, it's just a box that nobody ever saw.
Sure. Yeah, they're structured differently in
Right.
that sense.
Right,
You
that's
are
true.
correct.
That's
Right.
true. Very true.
There's not much else to say about it. I just think it's very clever. It might be the most clever of all of them. As far as how to make a prequel to this, I think this
And funny, yeah.
because I think a lot of people would just make like some account where some dude's working at the park and trying to make
Right,
things
and make
scary.
it serious. Right.
And that
Yeah,
could
it's-
work.
Yeah.
It could work. I mean, I'm sure an author like Slime Beast could make it work,
Right.
but
No, I feel like we've read the extended script for a good SNL bit. That's what I feel like we've done here today.
and that's not a bad thing at all.
No, it's
No,
great.
it's
You know,
fine.
you just cut away here. Suggestion. Suggestion.
Yeah.
Suggestion. Suggestion.
Oh, man.
No, solid stuff.
All right, that's a very short episode, and thank God because I needed it. All right,
Yeah.
stay tuned for something else in the coming weeks. So this has been Scary Friends. I've been Skillfully, and these have been my friends Dan, Dylan, and William. And
Guys, I'm sorry to cut you off. If you want to make a few suggestions about the podcast, please leave them in the comments below.
Rimshot.
All right. Stay safe, everybody.